Good morning. Good morning. And I only say good morning, obviously because I release episodes in the morning, but because I'm recording this in the morning and I feel really positive and fresh and just sprightly. Like I'm ready. I'm ready for this recording. I've got a fun list of things I'd like to talk about. And also, just up top, it feels really lovely to not be ranting this week, and we'll come on to that. Okay, at Fred Asquith on film, TikTok, Instagram. You can find this podcast YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere where you get your podcasts. And if you're listening to it on one platform, go watch it on another. If you're watching it on one platform, go listen to it somewhere else. And if you're listening or watching, go follow it on TikTok or Instagram at Fred Asquith on film. I post reels there, and you can relive your favorite moments that you've listened to and or watched. And if you're only watching the reels, go listen to. Do you get what I'm saying? Just consume it in all aspects. And once again, he's going to say it again, isn't he? I had my first person come up to me and say, I really love your podcast. The first time. I've had people come and say, I like your TikToks and stuff like this. But the first time someone's come up to me in the street and said, I listen to your podcast, oh my God, the feeling was transcendent. That it doesn't matter how many likes a TikTok gets. And by the way, I love doing my TikToks. Like I have such a good time with them. This means everything to me. Like you listeners, it means everything to me. I feel so like honored to have your attention in such a long form way. Like I've never had this relationship with an audience. And like I say, it's not going to change the world, the size of this audience, but the fact that it's just ticking up and like I'm getting more and more response and blah, blah, blah. On that point and on the ranty point, the Superman review poddy was just really well received. And I was so thankful for that because I was genuinely nervous to put it out. Basically, I didn't like Superman that came out last week that a lot of people have been loving. And I was nervous to put it out because I think the casual film critic space, and by film critic I mean the audience, as in we all have a right to be a critic. I think the casual film criticism space can be a really toxic one when you don't necessarily agree with the accepted opinion on something. And so I thought I'll put it out and, if I get shot down in the comments, then fine, whatever, fair enough. It ended up being like first of all, there was quite a lot of people who kind of agreed, who came to that video, obviously, because they saw that it was going to be a video not liking Superman, because I'd put the title, A Safe Space for People Who Didn't Like Superman. So that was obviously going to be part of the audience. But then there was another part of the audience which was just like a respectful, okay, I enjoyed it, maybe try it again kind of thing. And I love that because like I really want this podcast to be a community of people who can talk respectfully about film, because there are so many instances where I see on film reels in general, or even a few of my reels, where like people just get so shitty about other people's opinions on film. And it fucking baffles me. Like, if you enjoyed Superman, good luck to you. I'm so happy for you. I'm jealous. I wish I enjoyed it too. And vice versa. I'd hope you feel the same. And if you didn't enjoy something, then that's also fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I think the fun of film criticism, casual film criticism, is in the debate. It's in like, oh, what did you like about that? What did you not like about that? I didn't think about that side of it, or I might watch it again and see if I can see it from this point of view. That's all that it's about. And at the end of the day, film is just simply about enjoying yourself, right? Why the fuck else do we have art? It's about like getting some meaning or entertainment from something. And so if you're able to get that, then fantastic. And that's where the debate. That's the only reason there should be for any respectful debate. But beyond that, if you disagree on something, shake hands and go your separate ways. It's fine. It's so fine. It's untrue. None of this matters. None of this matters. And that's a good thing, right? We're all just here having fun. So Odyssey tickets. The tickets for Odyssey, sorry, I should give this context. The Odyssey is the upcoming film directed by Christopher Nolan. It stars everybody. Every single person in Hollywood. Name a person. Yeah, they're in it. and it's coming out next July. It's a year. I think it's a year to the date. I think that's why they did this. Obviously, as we all know, Christopher Nolan's incredible. I don't need to tell you all this. And so the audiences are in love with him, and Oppenheimer made $1 billion. And part of that was due to the fact that IMAX tickets cost more, and the IMAX screens were booked out for weeks, right? So they've released IMAX only, so not all screens, IMAX only tickets for the Odyssey a year in advance. And this is when last week it was confirmed it was actually still filming, because Matt Damon and Zendaya, who were in the film, were paparazzi'd in an airport in Morocco going back to set because they're filming in Morocco. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on? You might think that I'd be the type of person who would love this, right? Because I'm all for cinemas being successful, and the context is that these tickets have sold out. They were released at the BFI IMAX, which is the email I got, at 6 a.m. on Thursday, I think, or maybe Friday. And by the time I clicked on at 7 a.m., they were all gone. So fantastic. This is great news for cinema, appetite for movies, cinema attendance, box office. You know, the fact that Nolan's almost like he's got an insurance policy, like he's banked box office a year before it's even begun. And I did wonder, like, does it count to the first week's box office still? And it does. It does. Like any pre-order ticket, I guess, like a week before or a year before. It's all the same. So you would think I'd be all in for this. I'm actually not. To me, this is elitist and cliquey, okay? Because I feel like the reason why I wanted to start this podcast was because I love tons of movie podcasts that are really, really cine literate and really informed, either in the business or in the art, in a way that, like, I'm not, and yet I'm interested in that. And then I think there's a lot of people who love going to the movies who aren't as cine literate and maybe don't think about it on a technical point of view. And I think I'm right in the middle of those two things. I think I try to think about this stuff in an informed way with some kind of technical point of view, but I don't know as much as many movie nerds out there. And so I try and like bridge this gap, right? And so to me, this Odyssey ticket release and the fact that they've all sold out is too far on the kind of movie nerd side for me to get on board with, because we all know who got those tickets, right? You might be thinking, oh, just the people who are most interested in the Odyssey and Christopher Nolan. No. Well, yes, but they bought those fuckers in batch, right? They bought the fuckers in batch. There is an underworld black market of movie nerd ticket touting, especially in London, and I assume elsewhere, that is getting on my tit ends, right? And the reason why I know this exists is because I've been in London film community WhatsApp groups, and I've since removed myself, that share ticket, they leak ticket information, because obviously they've got friends at the BFI or they've got friends at PR companies or whatever. They all huddle together and they collude on buying tons of tickets when they come out for big movies. So mainly this happened for Oppenheimer in June, part 2, when I was in these groups. And then they distribute them amongst themselves in the WhatsApp group, right? So it's like this like Glastonbury, like I say, collusion of fandom, where it's like, if you're in the know, you're in the know. If you're in the know, you get in, and if you're not, you don't. It's like this like elite club approach to moviegoing, which is not democratized, and I don't like it. So when I went on the page at 7 a.m. and they were all sold out, I was like, look, there'll be many enthusiastic fans like me who are going to go buy a ticket, fair play. But there will also be batch ticket buyers looking to distribute tickets amongst people who weren't awake at 7 a.m. and who weren't maybe even aware that it was going to be released at 6 a.m. And also there'll be so many people who were made aware it was going to be released at that point, and the wider general public weren't. So the BFI didn't release an email saying, the Odyssey tickets are going to be out 6 a.m. tomorrow. Of course they fucking didn't. They tell their mates, and their mates tell their mates, and then they all buy tickets, and then they distribute them up amongst each other. You might think I sound paranoid. I've seen it. I've been in these groups, and this is how they talk. And I've never purchased a second-hand ticket from those fuckers, right? So you can't stop this. It's just going to happen. It just annoys me that by releasing tickets a year in advance, part A, but part B, for a limited number of screenings, you actually like cause this swarm of nerdy movie fandom sucking up all the good tickets for the best screenings a year in advance for a movie that should be for everyone, right? I'm all for movies for everyone. Let's get people to the movies. Everyone, okay? So just if you want to do it a year in advance, do a mail shot, do a drop. Be like, hey, they're going to come out at this time. At least give people a chance, right? Or do more screenings or something. I'm not into this. I'm not into it. It feels elitist, like I say. Also, good news. I actually asked ChatGPT to write me the next movie for Robert Eggers, the movie that will follow Nosferatu, which then followed The Lighthouse, and then followed, was it The Northman? Sorry. Then it was The Lighthouse and The Witch. So he does these like oldie worldy movies. I was like, ChatGPT, write me the next Robert Eggers movie. And it wrote it. It's called Werewulf. And I sent it to Robert Eggers and he wants to film it. Fantastic. Obviously, I'm joking. Obviously, it's come out that Robert Eggers' next movie is called Werewolf. And it's like it's obviously a period piece about werewolves, right? That's all you need to know. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is going to be a werewolf, and Lily Rose Depp, who was brilliant in Nosferatu, so good, is going to be in it too. If you'd have asked AI to make a press release for the next Robert Eggers movie, it would have made this, and that's funny. But I loved Nosferatu, and I really like The Northman. He's solid. Robert Eggers, right? I'm looking forward to it. Just not looking forward to Aaron Taylor-Johnson, which, if you listen to previous episodes, I'm not too big on at the moment. After the Hunt trailer, just have a little sip of my tea. It's quite a cold day today. Got a ginger tea. After the Hunt trailer, this is a trailer for the new movie by Luca Guadagnino, and Luca Guadagnino is one of my favorite directors. So he has directed, among others, he's directed Call Me By Your Name, Suspiria, Bones and All, and also the movie Queer with Daniel Craig last year. The reason why he's one of my favorite directors is not because every single one of those films is one of my favorite films. They're not. But similar to what I said it's a weird comparison, but what I said about Nolan last week, he's always worth the price of admission. There is always creative juice inside his movies. There is love, care, and attention, and there is always something really fresh and authentic, if that's the right word, just different about a Luca Guadagnino movie. That is always worth the price of admission. And so I didn't really like Queer, but there was one sequence in it, an ayahuasca drug-taking scene. The way they did that was sumptuous and like intoxicating. Call Me By Your Name, I am a big fan of, and Bones and All, which long-time listeners will know, is genuinely in my top 10 films of all time. Genuinely. And I think that's quite a strange take, and that's why I'm quite proud of it. You know, it's quite cool when you think you know something, you like something that other people don't, and you're like, ooh, I think I know better than you. I think Bones and All slept on. I think it's incredible. It makes me cry, that film, which is a strange thing to say about a cannibalistic movie. Obviously not crying at those bits. But I think this actually comes on to my point, really. This new trailer for After the Hunt has come out, starring Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, Chloe Sevigny, really great cast. Andrew Garfield as well. And it seems to be, once again, a Luca Guadagnino movie that has both drama, sex, and a big slice of sinister in it. And that, to me, fucking Challengers. I forgot to mention he directed Challengers. That's an obvious one. I mean, that's another good example. So that, to me, is the perfect cocktail for Luca Guadagnino. I think he is able to, better than anyone, make relationships feel, what is the word? Invigorating. Like dangerous. Or it feels, all of his movies have like a voyeuristic quality, which I think there's elements of voyeurism in Call Me By Your Name, which I think really work with him at the helm. But even when there's not voyeurism as a theme in the movie, there's something about his dramatic scenes, like just general dialogue scenes, that feel voyeuristic and feel sexy, I guess. I was trying not to use that word, but there's something about his movies that is just purely sexy, and he works so well with the dynamics between characters. I'm getting tingles just talking about it because, like, I find it amazing how he does this. I find him such an incredible artist. Like, it's making me emotional talking about it. I don't know why. I wasn't even an emotional day today. I just think he's incredible at what he does. I think, and a bigger splash, is it called, with Ralph Fiennes in it? I don't think anyone does better dialogue talking in a room. I don't know if it's his cinematography. I don't know if it's his direction of the actors, full stop. He obviously works with different screenwriters. He has such an eye for relationship dynamics. It's almost like the looks between the characters and the minutiae of the direction. Like, kind of, he's very observant of, like, facial like tics and like licking of the lips and twitches and like body language. He's very good at directing body language, and so he can direct a dialogue scene that feels so rich and brooding. That's the word. It's not sexy. It's brooding, and there can be nothing to it. It can be completely inconsequential dialogue scene. And yet he's got all those ingredients in it. And this trailer has all that and more. And like I said, there's always a sinister icing on a Luca Guadagnino film, even if it's not a sinister movie. So again, Queer is a good example, or Call Me By Your Name, or Challengers is a great example. All through that movie, you kind of feel like you're on edge. And you feel like there's something dangerous happening, but it's obviously just kind of a romantic drama. Like, it's not dangerous, but he makes it feel dangerous, and that's even, like I say, even when it isn't. But sometimes when it is, so like Suspiria, I said, not all his films are my favorite movies, but there's always worthwhile things in it. His remake of Suspiria is sumptuous to me. It's too long, it's baggy. I really don't like some aspects of it, things they've added from the original and stuff, but there are some scenes in that are fucking electric. And you can look at the big directors of now, and I always mention similar names, Gerwig, Nolan, Villeneuve, whatever, and you can say, no one can do the things they do like they do, right? Luca's in that conversation. No one, not one of the ones I just mentioned, nor anyone else, can do dialogue scenes, or so should I say, dramatic relationship-based dialogue scenes, and kind of this kind of sinister, sexy vibe like Luca Guadagnino. No one at all, and he's such a special director. And so I watched this after the Hunt trailer, and I won't say anything about it on here because I actually decided to turn it off because I was like, oh. They're going into some, I don't know what the plot is, but I recognized that they were going into aspects of the plot. And I was like, I don't need to know this. I'm going to go see this. This looks fucking incredible. I watched 50 seconds of it. And I was like, this is everything I want from Luca. I'm done. Clicked off. And I remember, like I said, Bones and All is one of my favorites. Bones and All, I went in actually completely blind. I didn't know what that film was about. I absolutely didn't expect what I got. Maybe that led to it. Being so well received by me. There's something about going in blind to a Luca film that I think is really beneficial because of that, because it always has that sinister, dangerous edge. Even if there isn't anything sinister or dangerous in it, if you don't know what's coming, you're always waiting for something bad. And I think that is a really important ingredient in a Luca movie. You're kind of like, is everything gonna go fucking horrendously, gruesomely wrong any moment now? That's what I get from every Luca movie, and I absolutely fucking love that. And I really can't wait. Speaking of which, I actually put out a poll on my broadcast channel, which is on my Instagram, at Fred Asquith Instagram, but I use it through my at Fred Asquith on film TikTok, Instagram, sorry. And I put, shall I go see Fantastic Four? Because after I didn't like Superman, I was like, do I really need to do this to myself? And it was a resounding yes. So I guess I'm fucking saying that on Thursday morning. Yay. So, review of Friendship. This is the new A24 comedy starring Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. We all know Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, going back to Friends, all the way through 4-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, blah, blah. Tim Robinson, you probably know if you listen to this, but in case you don't, he's a ex-SNL cast member who went on to do a sketch show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, it was called. And I'm pretty sure he wrote all of that with a co-writer, and he starred it. He was the lead in all the sketches, and it was so fucking. It was manic, that show. It was manic. It's been 2 seasons, and it was at times the hardest I've ever laughed, I think, at anything on TV ever. Like it was. What I found with that show was that it was so. It was actually quite hit and miss, and the misses to me were extremely boring and bad. Like some sketches, I was like, oh my god, just so wide of the mark, and then other sketches were so on the mark that I was like, this is my favorite thing I've ever seen. And so I came out probably only liking at best a quarter of the sketches on that show. And it's still one of my favorite comedy things I've ever watched. There are some seminal sketches on there. If you just go watch episode 1 of I Think You Should Leave and episode 3 on season 1, there are some incredible sketches on there. And so I was so happy to see that this was being made. I also think comedy movies aren't getting made enough. I would love to see more. I'm writing one myself with Ian. Long-time listeners will know back in the feed, there's Let's Write a Screenplay, where me and Ian were trying to write a screenplay, my friend Ian. We're still doing that. We're 65 pages into our screenplay, and it's a comedy. We think comedy's due a resurgence. I love seeing comedy in cinema. It's really nice to feel like you're laughing around other people. So I was really happy to see this was getting made. It's basically a comedy movie about a bromance going sour, and that is literally all you need to know. I'd say what I thought about this was I really enjoyed it. I'll just say that up top. I really enjoyed it. I was giggling all the way through. I think that's difficult for a comedy movie to achieve, because I think I was thinking about this during the movie. Actually, there is a certain type of fatigue that you can feel in a comedy movie. I think this is relatable. I don't think this is just me. There's a fatigue that you can feel in comedy that is like sometimes 90 minutes or 120 minutes is actually too long for a comedy sometimes. You know what I mean? It's kind of a bit like horror, where it's like, I actually only have so much stamina to be like, because it's such an active viewing experience. You can get fatigued watching comedies. And I get it watching stand-up, actually. When I go see stand-up live, and it's like over an hour set of one person, I tend to get a bit fatigued, and I'm like, by the end of the set, even if it's some really good stuff, I'm actually too jaded, I think the word is, to laugh anymore, because you've had the kind of excitement of like, oh, the movie's starting and this is funny and blah blah, and then you've had the kind of the story escalate and it gets crazier and crazier, and then because of the structure of movies, you have to have that dip about 70 minutes in where it's like all is lost, right? And at that dip, comedy movies often fall flat for me, because I'm like, okay, I get the character, I get the setup, I get the premise, I know where this is going. You're now actually painting by numbers, and you're not actually focusing on the comedy anymore. A good example of that, I would say, is what would it be? A good example of a comedy movie that feels fatiguing in the second half. Probably Planes, Trains and Automobiles, I would say. I'm a huge fan of that movie. I think it's a seminal comedy movie. So I'm not picking it because I think it's a bad comedy movie by any means. I think it's one of the best ever. But in that way, I think it's actually a good example of like, even the best ever, they can get a bit fatiguing. So like, the setup, he's going on the worst journey home from hell for Thanksgiving, and all the obstacles along the way. And then by the time you get 60, 70, 80 minutes into that movie, you're kind of like, okay, I get it. Like I've laughed enough at this. It's almost like every comedy movie to a certain extent is an extended sketch show. And Austin Powers, another great example of that. Like, it's quite tiring to watch Austin Powers because that really is an extended SNL gag. And Anchorman, even these are comedy greats. These movies. I am not saying that these are bad movies. These are comedy greats, and yet I do get fatigued by watching a comedy feature length film sometimes, because sometimes comedy is better suited to a 30-minute, episode or a sketch or something. And so that's a whole long point to say that this friendship movie felt like an extended I Think You Should Leave sketch. And that is worrying to me because I obviously only like 25% of the I Think You Should Leave sketches, roughly. And so I am just thankful that this was one of the sketches that I liked. Does that make sense? Like whether or not it's a 3-minute on Netflix on his sketch show or 90 minutes for the friendship movie, either way, it's like a sketch premise that could have been done in 5 minutes, or it could be done in 90 minutes. And therefore, do I like it? Do I not like it? Thankfully, I liked this one because he could have picked one of the 75% that I didn't like. That kind of style, I mean. But I liked this one. It was really, really funny. I think it's actually super relatable as well. The kind of over closeness you can feel with a bromance. The kind of like relief you can feel with a good bromance that's come out of nowhere. Like, oh my God, there's someone I can hang out with. Like I can hang out with this guy. Like I think that's a really relatable feeling for anyone, guy or girl. Just like, oh my God, a new pal. Like, yeah, fucking new pal. And we're really getting on. This is going to be a thing. We're going to be pals. And then it falls flat. I think we've all had friendships like that where you really, in a romantic relationship kind of way, you really thought that this was going somewhere, and then it doesn't. And that is just fundamentally a funny setup for a comedy. And so I'm not going to go into critique about like this was a funny joke, that was a funny joke, because I just really think you're getting into, it's kind of like semi-spoilers really, talking about funny bits of a comedy. And the setup is what it is. Like there's actually nothing technically that I'd like to talk about with this movie. And that's what I'm loving about this week. I've spent 3 weeks ranting about Jurassic Rebirth, ranting about Superman, ranting about F1 and the technical aspects of that I didn't like, and trying to talk in a kind of informed, intellectual way about that. In this case, it's a comedy. It made me laugh. It made me laugh all the way through. I had a really good time, and it kept itself to itself. It wasn't trying anything outlandish, technically, visually, whatever. It just is what it is. I think it could end up being quite rewatchable, quite quotable, and it makes me sad that we don't get movies like this as much anymore. Because I think in the noughties, in the Anchorman era, people were trying to make like the memeable comedy a lot. There was quite a few big comedy releases every year for quite a while, and that doesn't happen anymore. And I hope this does well. I hope more comedies get commissioned, and I hope mine gets commissioned. So I'm going to actually sign off with a statement to the house. Okay, final sip of my ginger tea. I'm going to start taking ownership of my viewing, of my TV and movie viewing. I'm going to start making bolder decisions about what I actually want to watch and what I don't want to watch. Going back to the Fantastic Four thing, I was like, should I see this for the podcast or should I just not see it? Because I really don't think I'm going to like it, and I don't like that feeling. It's off the back of Superman and it being a similar aesthetic. I like going into movies with an open mind, and I will. Now I'm going to go see Fantastic Four. I genuinely will. I want to love it. I want to love every film that I see. I've said that before. I'll stand by that. I'll never go into a film wanting to dislike it. But there are certain things that you're just like, I kind of want everyone else to enjoy this, and I'm happy to accept that maybe I would have enjoyed it, but I'm happy to accept that I'm missing out on whatever that might have been, enjoyment or not, right? Because I saw the trailer for Stranger Things Season 5 this week, and all these kids that entertained me in Season 1, 2, and 3, and then bored me to fucking tears in Season 4, and they now look like they could all beat me up at a petrol station, right? They now look like they're going to beat me up in an underpass in Hackney. Okay. So I don't care to watch these kids anymore. And this isn't, like I say, a split decision just based on this trailer. I fucking hated season 4 of Stranger Things. I was bored out of my brains. I remember vividly, deliberately only watching season 1 because everyone was talking about it. I was like, oh, I'd like to be on board with this. Because, you know, I do kind of... TV shows pass me by sometimes. So I got on board. I stayed on board till season 4. I can't say I've really enjoyed it for at least a season, maybe 2. But I think season 3 was actually pretty decent. And one of the problems I had with it was that they were trying to make a fucking feature film for every single episode. Just the pure length of it. I was like, I don't have time to put into this. I struggled to find time to rewatch Jaws last week, and thankfully I finally did, and it fucking slapped. What the? No. I'm trying to find time in my life to watch new movies and watch, even to some extent, new TV shows that are maybe 2 hours each or 6 hours for a limited series or whatever. Do you know how many films I could fit in that time? Like 8 at least? And will I watch 8 films? Absolutely fucking not. Because I don't have time for that either. 8 episodes that are all movie length. You can get to fuck, mate. And David Harbour, who plays what's his name, sheriff in that. I thought he was dead and gone, but maybe I've got that wrong. I can't remember. He said the finale made the entire cast cry. Yeah, I'm not surprised, because it probably took fucking forever to film, and you all wanted to get off set. I will also not watch Naked Gun. I'm not going to go see Naked Gun. I said this already. Liam Neeson, the trailer just looks diabolical to me, and I don't even like the original. I hate everything about the marketing of this movie, and I'm taking it upon myself to not watch this, because starting this podcast, I'm really enjoying seeing things that I maybe wouldn't have seen otherwise. I'm really enjoying trying to articulate why I like or dislike something, but I've wrote this down. I don't want to be gluttonous about movies on TV and viewing in general and lose touch with my inner joy. Does that make sense? I think I owe that to you. I don't want to lose touch with my inner joy and passion for what is my biggest passion in life, which is TV and film, right? I don't want to just see things because I'm like, oh, I better see it for the podcast, and then spend half my life ranting and then get jaded and disillusioned with all the content coming out. Because I listened to another podcast, which I won't name, where they watch that many movies that I actually think they've lost touch on like how to enjoy a movie. And I think we've all felt this at certain times in our life. You know, when you get obsessed with something, or maybe it's just the obsessives among us, you can actually end up doing it too much, and you're like, I think I forgot what the spark was about this, like what really got me into this, or what I just innocently enjoyed about this activity. And I want to retain that. I've still got that, and I want to retain that. And so I don't want to watch Stranger Things Season 5, and I don't want to watch The Naked Gun. And what a relief. I feel incredible after saying that. Thanks again for watching, listening, at Fred Asquith on Film, on TikTok and Instagram, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. You can watch me, you can listen to me, you can do everything. You can even tell your friends. I am seeing Bring Her Back on Tuesday, the new Philippou Brothers horror movie, the follow-up to Talk to Me. I can't fucking wait, but I think there'll be an embargo, so I'll have to review that probably the week after. But I can't fucking wait for that. All right, thanks, guys. See you next time.